Joining us now, NBC's Josh Lederman, also with us, former Congresswoman Jane Harman, chair of the Commission on the National Defense Strategy, former president and CEO of the Woodrow Wilson Center. So, Josh, what do we know about how the U.S. and Israel are coordinating and talking about any potential retaliation from Iran?
Well, both the U.S. and Israel, Jose, are signaling that they believe that an Iran strike in Israel could be imminent. Secretary Blinken has been working the phones with countries that are perceived to have influence with Iran, like Saudi Arabia and China, to try to get them to tell Iran not to escalate. But U.S. officials tell our colleagues, Courtney Kube and Carol Lee, that the U.S. Does believe that Iran may strike inside of Israel, potentially with a swarm of drones and missiles. And really, the big concern here is twofold, Jose. First of all, if Iran strikes inside Israel, does that set off the spiraling pattern of escalation that everybody is so scared about right now? Israel says it will respond by striking in Iran if Iran strikes in Israel. And so you can see how that can quickly spiral out of control in a tit-for-tat escalation. And second, if Israel is forced to respond, will the U.S. participate in that military response? Now, the Biden administration has not said explicitly, but President Biden has said in the context of a potential Iranian strike on Israel that the U.S. support for Israel is ironclad. Jose?
Josh Lederman in London, thank you very much. So, Jane, just wondering your thoughts. If Iran does indeed strike in Israel, what would things look like after that?
Well, let's start with the observation that Israel has a very good, strong missile and drone defense system, the Iron Dome, which could be swarmed. That's what your reporter just said. That means so many drones that the response will be overwhelmed. But I think Israel's prepared for this. This is their sweet spot. We have very good intelligence assets, and I'm sure we're sharing whatever we can find. And the goal here is to prevent this from happening. This would be an escalation in this war, and Iran's proxies are already surrounding Israel and making mischief in the Middle East, think Yemen and the Red Sea. So I read and hear that Iran doesn't want us to get engaged. It's going to be hard for us not to get engaged if this thing becomes bigger. So I'm worried about it. But I do think that the systems that Israel has to defend itself against attacks by drones and missiles are really solid and impressive. And the U.S. has helped over the years Israel build the Iron Dome system.
Yeah, and, you know, Iran has so many of those drones that are being used by the Russians in Ukraine. They have so many. Yeah. I want to turn to Ukraine and the effort on Capitol Hill to pass a new aid bill. You've written a new op-ed calling on Speaker Johnson to pass this aid package. Why is this so important right now?
Well, I was in Kyiv with members of my Commission on National Defense Strategy last week, and we saw Ukraine's indigenous drone and tank manufacturing capacity. It's extremely impressive, but those things are vulnerable. It's just what we were talking about with Israel. Ukraine doesn't have an Iron Dome system, and they don't have enough Patriots or other long-range fires to defend against a Russian attack. And Russia is right now attacking Ukraine's electric grid as well. So people are dying this minute while the House dithers, excuse me, and I have to read this to you. I'm just stunned. On the agenda for the House Rules Committee, things come up in the House under rules for next Monday are, I'm not making this up, hands off our Home Appliance Act, Liberty in Laundry Act, Clothes Dryers Reliability Act, Refrigerator Freedom Act, Affordable Air Conditioning Act, and Stop Unaffordable Dishwasher Standards Act. Really? Come on, Mike Johnson. Let's put the important things on the floor. I know he's trying to get Section 702 of the intelligence surveillance provision passed right now, but next week, Ukraine aid has to be there. The Senate acted 2 months ago. This is what my op-ed said. They passed their version by 79 votes out of 100, with 22 Republicans included. And it is just unfathomable that the majority of the House supports aid to Ukraine, and we're dithering. And he thinks, I guess, his survival might be more important than this bill. Mike, do the right thing, and your survival is more likely.
Former Congresswoman Jane Harman, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Hey everyone, MSNBC has a new and improved app. You'll get real-time alerts and analysis, live blogs, in-depth essays, video highlights, and the best 2024 election coverage. Download the new MSNBC app. Here's how to do it. You tap on the App Store on your phone. You hit search on the bottom right corner. You type in MSNBC. You click on the MSNBC app. You click on Get or the cloud icon and enjoy it.